giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific. We stream it live on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! All right, we got to start talking about this offseason, man. I know we're still recovering, but Dallas got some decisions. There's some key contributors from 2022 that will be hitting free agency. We'll take a look at that list. We'll dive into them, and we'll talk about the big four-ish. I mean, there's probably more than four, but I got a big four we'll talk about and dive into for sure. And we'll see, should the Cowboys run it back with these certain players. Now, when I say running back, I don't mean necessarily run everything back, from coaching to every single player. But every team, every year, they have to deal with this reality. There's turnover of something like 30% of the roster, right? So you're going to have a lot of free agents from every team. So you got to go down the line, right? No matter who your coach is, no matter who your front office is, whatever, this player is good enough to be a part of this team next year. And I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, because it kind of does matter who your coach is, right? But certain players, it doesn't matter. Certain players are just so damn good, you got to bring them back. So we're going to play a little bit of run it back or not.
Run it back, Turbo.
And we'll see. We'll talk about it. In the roundup, they already started their off-season acquisitions, if you really want to call it that. But they signed some guys to the future contracts. We'll take a look at that. And then we have an update on Tony Pollard's surgery that he went through, which and I'll say this in the roundup, we'll talk to Dr. Boothby on Monday to kind of get an even more in-depth look at Tony Pollard. So y'all stick around for all that. But what's good, Bomb Squad? How y'all doing, man?
Bomb Squad!
We're still getting over the loss here, Bomb Squad. I mean, because of what I do Monday through Friday, I had to kind of get over this quickly, or we'd just be sitting here talking about the same things over and over, which we'll probably do if you want to call in, by the way. 351-999-3787. Not everyone was able to vent and go through the loss with the nation. So if you still want to do that, you can. But we got obligations here to continue to move this thing forward and figure out how to continue to make this team better under the current structure. We understand certain things ain't going to change around here. But we could either come on here every day like Toxic Tom and talk about this, and this, or we can just continue to move forward and be fans and talk this thing through and figure this thing out, man. That's all we got. That's all we got. Other than that, more than welcome to keep it trucking, because we're not going to just continue to be toxic here every single day. Sorry, brother. Sorry. Ain't going to happen. But let's go ahead and let's get into this roundup so we can get into this news and talk some Cowboys football.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Oh, they do it! Hey, oh, they do it!
Hey, yo. TP underwent a successful surgery yesterday called a tightrope procedure. I'm no doctor. I know nothing about that. We'll talk to Dr. Boothby on Monday. He'll explain. Apparently, surgery's good. Actually, it was on his ankle, not his fibula. I think the fibula they're just going to let heal because it was a fracture, not a break. So listen, we'll talk to Dr. Boothby, and he'll let us know what all this really means. But we do know on Sunday when Tony Pollard went out, the team was only able to muster up 21 rushing yards in the entire second half. It became blatantly obvious that Dallas went into one-dimensional mode pretty quickly. One-dimensional mode. I mean, literally the next play. We talked about it yesterday. 2nd and 2, we go empty. So, Tony Pollard's loss was a big one, but put a pin in it because he's expected to be ready for training camp for whatever team he's on. But will it be Dallas? Will it be Dallas? Something to think about. Moving forward, though, Dallas did start signing guys to future contracts. They signed 5 players to their future contracts. Dontario Drummond, wide receiver. 2 centers, Brock Hoffman, Alec Lindstrom. A defensive back, Sheldrick Redwine, who they had just signed not too long ago. And safety, Wanye Thomas. 3 of those players, Drummond, Lindstrom, and Thomas, were guys that were brought in as unrestricted free agents. Wanye is an interesting one because he's a bigger safety, showed some promise in the preseason last year. And Dontario Drummond was fighting with Ty Freifogel for a minute and made some plays at camp and kind of stuck around. And the fact that they signed him to a futures means they see something in him to give him another shot to crack what is right now, to me, a crackable wide receiver room. And we'll also get into that later on because there's guys who are free agents, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the 5 guys: Drummond, Hoffman, Lindstrom, Redwine, and Wanye Thomas as the 5 future contracts. Who's the most interesting one to you on that list, Cowboys Nation? I don't know if there's any. I don't think any of them are really interesting. But if I had to pick, I say Wanye. Because it very well, you may be looking at a couple different players in that safety room, or at least one, where you could fight for that position, per se. And maybe 2. Maybe they don't bring back a certain other guy. But again, that's something that we'll dive into a little bit later. But there really isn't anything on here that moves the needle. Like, hey, man, this guy's got a chance. Maybe Dontario Drummond, because the receiver room currently is likely going to, right now, right, free agents. You're only going to bring back Gallup, Lamb, Tolbert are kind of your for sure guys, like that are signed under contract. So technically Drummond being here gives him a shot to crack that roster. But I guess you got Dennis Houston, I think, who's on the practice squad too. But it's not a big room. It's not a deep room. Never really was a deep room. Never really was. But they'll have a lot more decisions to make moving forward with, I think it's somewhere around over 15 guys, offense, defense, special teams, whatever, as free agents. To me, we talked about this on a post-game show where Jesse was like, man, look at this list. And I'm like, this is par for the course, in my opinion. And the reason why it doesn't surprise me, because when you're doing this as intently, and especially when it comes to the offseason, y'all know how I am about the offseason. I really go in. The list doesn't shock me, right? And really, when I look at it, I thought the list last year had more high-profile guys than the one does this year. And when I say the list last year, I mean guys that were free agents plus who they decided to move on from. This year, you got some key contributors, but you also got a ton of just depth guys, ton of guys that didn't really matter, and a handful of dudes who contributed at a high level. And a few of those handful of guys you can actually just let go because of the dudes you have behind them. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just used to the turnover for Dallas and for the league in general. So it didn't shock me. But if that list shocks you, you can call in and let me know. And we already got a caller on the horn right now. Let's just jump right into the phone lines real quick. And then we'll talk about the first part of the list. I'm going to purposefully leave out some names for the end so we could talk about the big ones at the end. But we already got somebody on the horn. They called in very, very early. 936. You got something on your mind?
Brother Sky, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Who this?
Oh, man, it's your boy Eastside, man. How you doing, brother?
Eastside Harold.
How you?
I haven't heard from Eastside Harold since 2016.
Hey, man, I decided to call you because I wanted to the top rated Cowboys news, and I know you're the foremost expert. I just had a few questions for you, sir.
What did you say your name was again?
Hey, man.
Who was this again?
Eastside.
It doesn't matter who this is. Let's get to a real Cowboys fan. Nacho, what's good with your brother? How you doing, Nacho?
Hey, man. I thought you were talking to the gentleman that I'm sorry.
You thought I was gonna let Eastside come in here and do that? Get out of here, bro. I told you we don't deal with the phony guys like that. You call in right now. You had all year to call in, Eastside. Get out of here, man. What's good, Nacho?
All right, my man. How you doing? Blessings. Hey, listen, man, it's hard to want to swallow. When our defense quite possibly played probably its best defensive game plan
tough one,
for the whole entire year, and we just just our offensive side of the ball did not show up, and you made the critical turnovers to really just flip the game over, and now we're in the situation of what's going to happen in the off season, and what's your take on what might be potentially happening? Of course, at this point, it would be all speculation. It's I'm hearing, with Dan Quinn getting a second interview with Arizona and so on, and all the coaching movement, and then Jerry Jones not showing up to or canceling the radio show, and of course, I
don't know what that's about. And maybe Jerry's pissed off. I think somebody said he doesn't want to slip up on something. I don't know what that's about. But what was your question on Dan Quinn?
Yeah, so what do you think? If he is close to potentially leaving and getting a job elsewhere, do you do what you have to do to keep the man, or you allow him to walk?
There's nothing you can do. If he wants to go coach another team and be a head coach elsewhere, there's nothing you can do, right? So what do you mean by do what you can do? Offer him $100 million? That's not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
Of course, the other option would be, you don't want to let this guy walk away, then you promote him and you make him your head coach. What do you think about that?
What do you think about that? What do you think that's a realistic option?
If I have to think,
because I live in reality, that ain't a realistic option.
If I have to think of a head coach right now in our building that I really feel did and has been the head coach that the players not only listen to, it would absolutely be Dan Quinn, and he would be the most consistent coach that we've had so far. On the offensive side of the ball, it's very difficult to say much about the Kellen Moores of the world.
Yeah, I think we're talking in fantasy land here. I mean, if we want to deal with hypotheticals and sure, we can have this conversation, but
sure,
that's not a reality. I don't want to waste your time or my time on something that's not even remotely a reality. And if we want to entertain it, though, why would Dan Quinn want to be with an organization where he knows somebody's going to have his thumb pressed up under him? And it's not like Jerry Jones and Dan Quinn have this tight relationship like a Sean Payton, right? If it was a reality, he wouldn't be taking no calls and no interviews with the Cardinals or the Colts.
Good point. Lastly, let me ask you this. The fact that Sean Payton has said no to 2 teams already, is there an outside chance of some kind of crazy move by Jerry?
I suppose. I'm not. I don't. Listen, man, this Sean Payton thing. I don't know why we're talking about Mike McCarthy right now. What did Mike McCarthy do or didn't do that deserves him to be fired? He won a road playoff game for the first time in 30 years in Dallas. Back-to-back 12-win seasons with an organization that deliberately hampers you in the offseason. Why are we talking about Mike right now? It might have been a question to entertain if he lost in Tampa, or if he got blown out in San Fran and they weren't coming prepared to play. I thought they came prepared to play. I don't think Mike McCarthy was the reason why you lost that game.
No.
So pardon me for the kind of harsh feedback here, but it's just coming out of left field because why is Mike McCarthy's name being discussed to be replaced at this moment?
Yeah, and no, you make some strong points in that, and if I did come across as pinpointing McCarthy at one point, no, that was not necessarily my thing. I'm just kind of playing with these scenarios and ideas that are that are going around. I mean, I would definitely start with a new offensive play caller, get somebody to be in Dak Prescott's ear. Have somebody that can really work with him and surround Dak with what we have, because whether we agree or disagree or like or don't like Dak at this point with what he's achieved or not, and if it's time to eventually kind of move on and start thinking of a quarterback down the road, we are stuck with his contract. So what they need to do, or I believe what they could and should do, is surround Dak Prescott with the right type of players to be able to have more success and bring in someone who is not going to be learning on the job and be inconsistent in terms of the play calling that has, to an extent, affected Dak Prescott in his performance, and also has had him digress somewhat, is what I think. What do you think?
All right, man. Appreciate the call, Nacho. We'll continue to talk more about Kellen Moore and the play call. That's something that we've been talking about, and we'll continue to talk about it. But I'm a bit confused on the Mike McCarthy. Is this a talking point right now? I thought we were past that. If not, I mean, we can make a show out of it. Replace Mike McCarthy, but. Are we blaming Mike for that loss? Is that a thing? Looking in the chat, and I see some people were saying, yeah. I seen Toxic called him Wade Phillips. He called Mike Wade. He ain't Wade, brother. They definitely believe in him way more than they believed in Wade. No offense to Wade. Am I tripping? That caught me off guard here. I mean, Mike McCarthy, back-to-back 12-win seasons, facing a ton of adversity with a franchise in front office that refuses to make any all-in type of moves. It's dealt with injuries to the quarterback in both years. Has done more when faced with adversity than the previous regime. I don't have an issue with Mike. Now, if you can guarantee me you're going to replace Mike McCarthy with a guy that's going to take you to the promised land, it's the same thing with Dak Prescott. If you guarantee me you can replace Dak Prescott with a top 5 quarterback, why would I say no? But I don't know, man. Let me see what y'all saying here. I'm a bit shocked here. Facts. Mike's first season, we're a game away from winning division with a practice squad roster. Do we fire Mike McCarthy? Mike ain't clapping on the sidelines when shit goes ass backwards. Barbara believe it's Mike's fault we lost. Why, Barbara? I don't know what was Mike. How was it Mike's fault on Sunday? All right, I guess, man. I guess it's Mike's fault. I don't know, man. Reek, what's up?
What's going on, Scott? What's going on, Cowboy Nation? My whole thing about the Mike McCarthy thing, man. Man, Mike gave us 2 back-to-back winning seasons, as far as regular seasons, to even get into the dance. You don't fire somebody just for that, man. And he did it without his starting quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he helped win a road playoff. You got your first road playoff victory in 30 years.
Yeah. And you won.
And you should have won on Sunday.
Tom Brady
What Mike's fault you lost on Sunday? But
no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
dumb Kellen Moore play calling as usual.
Oh, yeah, quarterback too. But your quarterback as well.
Yeah, Dak just need to get up out of that system, man. I need him to get from up under what's the guy, the coach, offensive coordinator before him, Scott Linehan, and Jason Garrett's system. He has to come up out of there. I need a coach that's with him, that's making Dak accountable for his mistakes out there in the field. You know what I mean? And somebody can get into Dak's head and help him out when he's flustered or frustrated, or if receiver is not doing their job by getting open or fighting back to the ball. Because I was watching a show last night, and they made a great point, even to when Dak threw that first interception, that Michael Gallup kind of gave up on the damn play without fighting through it, or at least trying to contest it.
Oh, well, it was terrible. It was a terrible route. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, the whole damn play was an absolute disaster, but nonetheless.
Yeah, but see, we've been running those hook routes and plays to the sideline like that the whole damn season. But it's like, come on, man. It's like, we can blame Dak. Yeah, that was a bad Dak Prescott game. But at the same time, too, man, get him somebody in here that knows how to use Dak and what he's good at. What he's good at, and don't use the stuff that he's not good at. You know what I'm saying? Like, quit trying to make him into a Peyton Manning type of quarterback. He's not that type of quarterback. You know what I mean? He's really a West Coast quarterback, if you ask me. He's better under center. He's better when he has a running game. He's better when he can play action you. That's when Dak flourishes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's no doubt there's no doubt, and we'll put it on a loop that Kellen is not a guy that mitigates anybody's weaknesses and helps put their strengths to the forefront. That's not him. This is what I run. You need to fit in it and you need to adapt. And if that hits that day, it hits that day. But usually, it's more so up, down, one week, another week, and you just kind of got to fight through the mud with it. And that's what happened. And for the most part, even in the games where we scored a lot of points, there was still some inconsistencies and turnovers. So that just was the way this year.
Yeah. Right? And I'm going to say this last thing, and I'm going to land my plane. We need to put pressure as a fan base on the Joneses, as far as quit bringing us this mediocre talent up in here and expecting Dak to make wine out of it. You know what I'm saying? We need to cut that out, man. You're not helping your quarterback out that you paid all this money to. You can't say, oh, we paid you all this money, so we need you to get over the hump. No, you give him his money, but at the same time, you bring him weapons in here. So if he fails, that's on him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You bring him offensive coordinator, they on the same level about things, that's on him. You know what I mean? Quit trying to give this man nothing and taking weapons away from him and expecting this dude to flourish. It just don't work like that. Look what the Eagles did for Jalen Hurts. They got him all the weapons that he needs. Where they at right now? Where's San Francisco at right now with a rookie quarterback? Well, that's the only thing I gotta say. But our defense, they did their job. The offense sucks. But other than that, hey, Cowboy Nation, hell of a season. They didn't think we were gonna make it this far without our quarterback. See what we did? Be happy about that. All right now.
Well, I ain't mad at people for not happy about it, but preach to the choir, man. Already starting off the Post in the Nation hotlines with some fire, presented by the Cochran Firm. Since 05, Larry and Brian been fighting and protecting down there in the Cochran Firm, managing a ton of different challenging civil cases, but mainly around here, automobile accidents, because Dallas, y'all can't drive around here. It is what it is. If you are one of those affected by anything around here and need legal counsel, hit up the Cochran Firm at 1-800-THE-FIRM or get your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. God, L, if you're in here, L, you know what we need. We need a win, man. We need a win. Maybe I should postpone the Cowboys free agent priority show to another day. Cause that ain't gonna be a thing today, is it? I see where we're going here. Sky, can we have a cookout of Kellen Moore lead? There will be a specific type of show for that, but the problem is, we gotta celebrate. We gotta celebrate like this. Like, we can't get too hyped because who you hiring? Who you hire? Is it Doug Nussmeier? Hey, right? Because that's the thing. Like, I am fully ready to move on from this dude, but let's bring in a guy that's part of one of these systems that's been working this, over the years. let's not revert back to what we've been doing. King said, I'm definitely going. But you're right. We probably should. We probably should celebrate a little bit. All right, man. I guess we'll go back to the phone lines. It ain't looking like we going to talk about what we want to talk about today. Whoa, who this? Wait. All right, cool.
Hey, this is great.
What's good, man? I hear you, but I heard the sirens in the background.
My bad. I'm at work. I'm on the forklift.
Gotcha.
I'm at the short street, man. I don't think we need to rebuild. We just need to be full. And we got to add the proper coaching staff.
Got what?
We need a new quarterback coach. I think we need a new quarterback coach.
Yeah.
And a new offensive coordinator. And who do you think we replace? If DQ leaves, who do you think we replace him with? Do we bring someone in from the outside or someone already on the staff?
Probably going to be, unless Joe Witt goes with him. But if Joe Witt wants to be a DC, I think Joe Witt Jr. is a leader in the clubhouse. If not, my guy is Vic Fangio. I would love to bring in Vic Fangio.
I got you. Now, I'm not going to tell you long, man. Good show. Love you. Respect you. Keep doing good things. And I think it was a good season, man. We'll be all right, man. It's all good. Take it easy, man.
Appreciate you. That was a question posed all over social media yesterday. Can you label it a good season and a failed one at the same time? Does that make sense? Really, it's really strange season because a lot of people didn't believe this would happen anyway. But because of the Cowboys, the expectation is always got to win the Super Bowl, right? I think the expectations can shift though. And I think once you got to a certain point in the season, the expectations was to get to the Super Bowl, or at least NFC Championship game. Good regular season, failure, totality. I think you can say that. Like, yeah, you had a good regular season, but you failed to get to the NFC Championship. Am says, wait a minute, is DQ leaving? I mean, it's looking that way. Second interview with the Cardinals. The Colts want to holler at him. I wonder if the Panthers look into him or not. I mean, they looked into Kellen. So it just feels like Dan Quinn is going to leave, but I'm hoping we catch a swerve. Last year, we caught a swerve. Denver Broncos also won him, and he decided to come back to Dallas. I would love nothing more for Dan Quinn to come back to Dallas. Nothing more. So, debate now. I could save this for tomorrow, to be completely honest. We can go ahead and pivot if y'all want. Who is S. Groover? 904. What's good?
What's up, man? This Trey, Florida Trey. I call Bot Show all the time. What's up, Sky?
What's good, Florida Trey?
Nothing much, man. I got a couple points. Mainly, I don't think I see a lot of people talking about keeping shows. Like I seen Law Nation say pay the man. I just don't agree with that at all. He's not a game changer, man. He don't do nothing. I mean, if we're gonna keep a tight end and pay him money like Kittle and Kelsey, I mean, he got to be able to do some of those things. Schultz, he can't do none of that stuff, man. He a good piece, but can't pay that. And I think Dak reached his ceiling with Kellen. I mean, it just seemed like some of them routes they got them running. Like, you need a dynamic receiver for some of them routes. Like, I guess, like, it's good to have Amari Cooper when you just running, you know what I'm saying, to the sticks and turn around when you got somebody running, those type of route, treat that type of route. And when he come back, he got all that space, but it don't work with this receiving core. So, we definitely got to go receiver. But I want to ask you though, before I go, what you think the major position that we got to fix, and then I'll listen.
The biggest position, major position the Cowboys got to fix. Oof. I don't want to come at the O-line because the O-line played decent, but get Steele back. Probably wide receiver. I mean, you're still on my bad. You're still on the phone. Yeah, probably wide receiver, right? I mean,
Yeah.
technically your wide receiver room is Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert. That's it. I mean, it's technically your wide receiver room. You know, some would say corner because, you know, you lost AB and J. Lou, but J. Lou's coming back. Deron Bland, I thought, elevated. I
But
think
do you want those J. Lou and AB back? Do you really want them guys back?
Well, that's a perfect segue. Well, J. Lou is already going to be back because J. Lou is under contract, so I don't see a reason to cut Jordan Lewis. But Anthony Brown is a free agent, and again, I'm debating if I even want to go there. But Anthony Brown's a free agent, and I'm fine with Anthony Brown walking. 100%.
I am too. All right, man. That's all I had, man. I'm listening, man. Great show. Appreciate you.
Man, appreciate the call, man. Glenn said, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, does that make the Joneses change their philosophy in free agent and player acquisition? Glenn, the Eagles already won a Super Bowl like this. They already did it in 2017. In fact, I'd argue in a more impressive fashion because it was with a backup quarterback. But they won out and signed a high-profile wide receiver, spent more money on the position at receiver, made the trade in the season for a running back, got guys defensively, brought them in. They did this already. Howie Roseman knew the blueprint. He went through a little phase and is repeating that same blueprint. So, no, I don't think it's going to make them change their free agent philosophy. Because if Philly won one doing it, the Rams won one doing it, Tampa won one doing it, people won't talk about the Chiefs' victory because obviously Pat Mahomes and things like that, but they also went out and traded for guys and made some aggressive moves as well. That is the way of the land. I've been saying this for years, man. I know we got a lot of new viewers. 3 pillars, man. Free agency, trade market, draft. You cannot win consistently doing one. You can't compete for a championship consistently doing one. You kind of got to hit on all 3 of these things. Said that. Is it impossible? No, but you make it harder. That's there you go. That's how I feel about that situation. All right, let's do it. Today's show was supposed to be about Cowboys free agent priorities, so let's get into it. We'll go through this list a little bit quicker then. And we'll save kind of the big 4 for later. But let's go ahead and start with the left side and go on down. And we'll get a run it back or not. Outside linebacker Anthony Barr was signed late in training camp, literally about 3 weeks before the season. And he was very meh. He's 100%, a guy you let walk. I don't think you look at bringing Anthony Barr back. You saw that Damone Clark had something, so Damone Clark steps in and you allow him to kind of see where he can go with this situation here. Devin Harper will be back as well. Jabril Cox will be back. We'll see what they do with whoever the defense coordinator is with Micah, and then the guy we'll talk about a little bit later. You let him walk. Let him walk. Let Steele walk. What? I mean, let's go. In fact, let me start with the restricted free agents real quick. Rico Dowdle and Terrence Steele. Rico Dowdle is a restricted free agent. I honestly don't even think you need to apply the restricted free agent tenure tag on that guy. You can let him walk, and you probably can sign him back to free agency or sign him back to the practice squad. But who is this Steele? Let Steele walk? Are we serious here? Terrence Steele's a restricted free agent. Okay, this must be a troll. It's on Facebook, by the way. YouTube, you can't see that. You absolutely tenure Terrence Steele. Maybe you try to talk to him and see if you can get him for the cheap since he got hurt. They love this. Like, they love doing deals with Terrence or with guys like Terrence Steele, tore their ACL, they're young, and can get them for cheap. But at the very least, you put the restricted free agent tag on Terrence Steele and you just go another year. I wanted to sign Terrence Steele to a cheap deal last year coming into the season, and he proved to be one of the better right tackles in the NFL. So I'm not sure what this guy is talking about here. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man, what he's talking about. Terrence Steele was arguably, not even arguably, he was your best run blocking tackle on the team, and he was one of your best offensive linemen this year. And he's only 25. He's your most athletic O lineman. His arrow is pointing up. It's not even a decision to make. I don't know why I'm giving attention to that. But cornerback Anthony Brown, run it back or let him walk. I let Anthony Brown walk. I mean, I understand when Anthony Brown went down that there was some controversy over there, right? But let's not get it confused. It wasn't like Anthony Brown was this amazing cornerback, right? He's a guy that you can easily, I say easily, right? Because it didn't happen this year, but he's a guy that you can replace with a replacement level player, whether it be free agency, whether it be the draft, and then you rock out. But I don't even think they got to do that. I think they got a guy in Deron Bland that you can move out there to the outside cornerback spot, and you've upgraded. And then Jordan Lewis comes back. He's your slot. So Anthony Brown, I appreciate what you've done. It sucks you got injured, but I'm not signing Anthony Brown back to this team. It's two different conversations, a whole bunch really. During the season, it was about let's see if we can improve from Anthony Brown, not let's cut Anthony Brown, hope he gets hurt, and now you can't use him at all if it doesn't work out or put him in the slot. Nobody wanted that. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some people wanted to kick him off the bridge. Boom, you saw you couldn't improve from him, then you can insert him back in, but that wasn't the case. He got hurt. So, appreciate what you did. Noah Brown, no. Do we need to even go? If Noah Brown gets signed again, he 100% has some type of, he has something on this team. Just no. No one, Noah Brown. Dante Fowler Jr.,
Run that back, Turbo.
I'm not saying that with my chest, but I don't mind Dante Fowler Jr. as a rotational defensive end. What did he get? As my guy Vosh said, $38. I get Dante Fowler Jr. back on $38. Sure. But he ain't a guy I'm going to sit here and give the bag to. But I would not be mad at Noah Brown. Nah. I mean, I'm sorry, at Dante Fowler Jr. Nah. Vet minimum type deal, $2 million. Listen, I ain't going to trip about that. He got $37.50, Swain. Yeah, I ain't tripping about that. Nah, at all. Luke Gifford. I'm good. I'm good on Luke Gifford. I don't really need to go in on that. He is what he is. CJ Goodwin. I will always be about bringing back CJ Goodwin. So
Run that back, Turbo.
You might say, well, Kelvin Joseph is a new CJ Goodwin, and that's an indictment on Kelvin Joseph, in my opinion. But CJ ain't going to cost you nothing. CJ ain't going to cost you nothing, man. And he's a special teams ace. I'm always down for a good CJ Goodwin deal to come on back. So I ain't tripping on that one, man. I'm good with bringing CJ Goodwin back. Final three here. This one is interesting. And I'm going to skip Jonathan Hankins. I'm going to bring him back later. T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton. This one I've been tussling with, man, because obviously he's 33. He's older. But I'm going to add a caveat to it.
Run that back, Turbo.
I'm going to run it back with T.Y., but not with I'm relying on T.Y., but with the thought process of I want to have that vet wide receiver in my wide receiver room. I want to establish that relationship with these dudes. You're probably going to draft another young one, so the receiver room is likely going to get younger, not older. And if he can't cut it in camp or whatever, then you move on from him. It costs you nothing. But if T.Y. can round into form to be a reliable fourth receiver, if somebody goes down, you're 3 or 2, cool. But excuse me, still getting over this. But T.Y. is not a guy you're going to have to rely on. He's not a guy you're going to have to pay a lot of money to. So, yeah, I would 100% throw him a couple dollars. And also remember, when we're talking about these free agents, Dallas is not going to sign a bunch of free agents. Notice, I didn't say sign a bunch of quality free agents. They ain't going to sign a bunch of free agents, period. Dallas signed 3 free agents last year. James Washington, Dante Fowler, and Ryan Nall. So T.Y. got to kind of be up there, right? And then the final 2, Brett Maher. I hate to do this to you, Brett. But no. I'm gonna go ahead and let Brett Maher. And he had a strong season, man. But that playoff game, that broke me, bro. That broke me, Cowboys Nation. Did it break anybody else? The playoff game broke me. I gotta let Brett go. You know what you can do? Let Brett go. And bring him back in training camp if it don't work out with the new kicker. I mean, Brett probably ain't gonna get picked up by nobody. I gotta let him go, man. That broke me. That 4? You don't miss 4 in a row. And that could affect you mentally. Then he was about to miss another one in San Fran. Only reason it got blocked is because he shanked it. I digress. Then finally on that left side, Connor McGovern. I'm also let Connor go. Offensive guard. I feel like I can plug and play offensive guard more than any other position on that offensive line. So I'll let Connor McGovern walk as well. I thought Connor McGovern did a solid job this year, best he could. I thought he was better this year than he was last year. And maybe you might get a comp pick for Connor McGovern. I don't know. But I'm not big on re-signing Connor McGovern to some multi-year deal. Now, if you can get Connor McGovern on a 1-year deal, maybe we talking differently here. But I'm good on Connor McGovern. I'm good on especially think about this. If you slide Tyler into left guard and you draft a tackle, now you really don't need Connor McGovern. So that's the first part. We'll get to the second part in a second, but let's hit the lines, man. I'll get my boy Jay Tuck on the horn. What's good, Jay Tuck?
What's going on, my guy? What's going on, Cowboys Nation, man? I'm a little sick, man, so I gotta excuse my voice.
I'm still getting over this shit.
Yeah, bro, man, it was crazy out there in Santa Clara, man. But I'll say this: when it comes to the Brett Maher situation, when I was out there at the game, bro, he was literally right in front of me kicking in warm-ups, and he missed 5 chip shots in a row before the game started.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, and so I tweeted, I was like, man, he is in his head, but we can't win this game without him. So I think overall, him just being inconsistent impacted our thought process when it came to how we handle things throughout the game, because I don't think we could really rely on and trust that he was going to be able to bang those kicks through. Because I know a lot of people talked about the Dak interception, but honestly, I was feeling that way watching at the game, but that was 4-down territory anyways, because I wasn't too sold he's going to be able to knock that through.
Before you go on about the 4-down territory, I want to know if anybody else thought this. There was times in that game where I'm like, why not go for it? And they elected to kick the field goal. The one of them was when they came out and they did the fake, we're going to try to make them jump off sides. I would have just went for it right there.
Right.
The other one was, I think in the third quarter, you drove all the way down to the 10-yard line or inside the 10-yard line, and you decided to kick the field goal as opposed to going for it. What happened to kind of the aggressive nature for the Cowboys? I would have went for it there.
Right. And remember, in 2020, in Mike's first year, we saw aggressive nature not only offensively, but also with special teams, man. Bones was doing fake punts and, all sorts of stuff, and we kind of just lost it, man. But it really goes back to what we've been talking about, just the identity of this team. We're just a different team from week to week. We don't know what we can lean on and what we can't lean on. It's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that, man. And I want to chime in on the offensive line situation that you mentioned when it comes to Connor McGovern. Like, do we think that Tyler Smith is our left tackle next season, or is he going to be our left guard? Because you also have Matt Waletzko returning. So you think that he's going to be the left guard? But I know the Cowboys, bro, is kind of high on Connor McGovern because he got all the reps this year. So I want to kind of get your thought process on that, and also how we handle, Tyron Smith moving forward. And then last but not least, bro, I know a lot of people are looking for someone to blame, but as you said, Mike McCarthy can't be the one to blame.
No.
As a Cowboys fan, all we can ask for is consistency, and we finally got it. Back-to-back playoff appearances. We won the divisional round. We had to scrap and, show some resilience all season. We're kind of getting to where we're trying to be with that consistent level. I've been trying to preach it's just going to take time. I know a lot of Cowboys fans are tired, self-included. We want that instant jump, right, where we kind of go from nothing to Super Bowl contenders when you kind of saw in Cincinnati. But for us, it's just going through the process. We've got a lot of work to do. So Cowboys Nation, don't give up on this team. Don't give up on our players. We still got a lot of work to do. We'll be right back next year, man. But I appreciate this guy.
Salute. Appreciate you, Tuck. I'll answer the question about the O-line, man. Make sure y'all hit up J Tuck on all things CFO gang. We're going to do every year, for those who've been around since I had the page, it was Skywalker Still, and then it was Dallas Cowboys University, Dallas Cowboys Network. Yeah, I changed it a bunch of times. We do a thing every offseason called State of the Unit, and then last year we started something called Hindsight 2020. It was Hindsight 2021. We'll probably do Hindsight 2022, and probably the offensive line. We'll start there first. And he asked, well, are they higher on Connor McGovern? They may be higher on Connor McGovern being on the team, but now we're talking about allocating multiple years and dollars to Connor McGovern. Are you that high on him to do that? I don't know. I mean, maybe a 1-year deal or something like that, or a super cheap deal, but I don't think he's good enough to allocate that much money to, or years to, where you could put that somewhere else. And that is going to be a huge question. Tyler Smith guard, Tyler Smith tackle. How are they going to view Tyler Smith? It sounded like they view him as a tackle when he first came on, and then they bumped him inside the guard when Tyron came back. And then you got Tyron Smith conversation. I can't wait to dive into it all the way. But in regards to that left guard spot, if I had to choose, I personally, would like to see Tyler Smith play guard. I think Tyler Smith's ceiling at guard can be much higher, but I get how tackle is the more prominent, important position. So I don't blame anybody for wanting to keep him at tackle. We had this debate all year, right? Guard, tackle, what are you going to do with it? But when I seen him at guard, man, he just different. Let me just say that. He just different. All right, we got a couple more here, and we'll get to the other side. I guess it's only right to bring Toxic in there. What's good, Toxic?
Hey, good morning, Sky. Love the show. Like what you're talking about today, and I'm not going to divert. We'll stick to free agents today.
Thank you.
Looking at that list, the only thing that I really worry about is, are we going to just get these free agents that we want signed and just proceed on forward? Or are we going to drag our feet and make it so that we're overpaying for average talent, which we've been doing for, decades now? So it really makes me wonder that this offseason, I think Professor O said it earlier, this is going to be one of those off seasons where it really needs to be, how bad do you all really want to win this? Because if you really say you want to win this thing, there's a lot of free agents on that list, like Noah Brown. It shouldn't even be a discussion. They should be helping that dude pack. And they should be really looking at this and go, okay, this we like our guys mantra doesn't really like, because we like our guys. We also like them L's, because that's all we've been catching. So there are some things that I'm looking at, and I'm seeing these players, and I go, okay, is there anyone here that really moves the needle for me and is going to fit in our long-term plan? And there's maybe only 2 or 3 guys on that list that I can honestly say that I would 100% try to keep, including Terrence Steele, who's an RFA, which makes it easy. So it also brings up this and saying, hey, look, we have some free agents this year. What about next year? And then approaching it to going, like you said, with Terrence Steele, and really saying, hey, how do we get this guy paid now? Because it's going to cost us more in the future if we just drag our feet and do this. And my only other fear is that looking at guys like Jonathan Hankins, he came in because we had a defensive coordinator, the first real defensive coordinator, since I want to say Wade Phillips, honestly. And Dan Quinn was really essential about upgrading the safety position, upgrading the defensive tackle position. So whoever goes in at the defensive spot, I really hope that all that progress they made in realizing that having small defensive tackles and Jeff Heaths back there doesn't work. And you really need to stick with this plan of listen to the guy and the defensive coordinator and his scheme and what he wants. So I'm really hopeful that
depends who that is.
They bring in.
They did that.
You're right.
With Rob Marinelli, and we saw how that worked out.
Yep, I really want Joe Witt Jr. to come in. I think he's more than deserving to be defensive coordinator, and I really hope that they aren't making these decisions right now when your coaching staff is literally in flux, because I am of the opinion that there should be a congruent plan from your general manager to your head coach. Your head coach has the plan to his coordinators. I really hope that they are proceeding forward with Mike McCarthy saying, hey, I'm looking at DQ's gone. I'm looking at hiring Joe. Joe, what do you think of these free agents? Rather than
I think they do that,
catboying. And then I really want to know who in that building said, hey, I think we can make it work with Jalen Tolbert, James Washington, insert random name here.
Well, you said
on
defense.
the offensive side of the ball.
I thought you were talking about defense.
The only. Oh, I'm so sorry. I misspoke on that.
Yeah.
I'm saying in general on the whole coaching staff. I know the defense is fine because Jerry, I know, doesn't touch the defense. That's been proven. I want the same defensive mentality of looking at their free agents as they do on offense. I want that congruent. We are on the same page from
brother. We want an entirely different outlook on free agency, right? That's what you've been adamant about. You don't want them to have the same approach in free agency on offense as they do defense, because that means you'll get bargain bin guys. You want this whole entire free agency plan scrapped, correct?
From the top, yes. What I'm more saying is like when you have a strategic plan, then you have a tactical plan. I'm looking at it as in when I know for a fact from listening, Dan Quinn was saying, get me these guys. And they said, oh, we'll give you these guys instead. I know that Dan Quinn didn't get neutered, and he can say what he needs to get at the grocery store. On the other side of the ball, I don't think that's the same process. I think they're operating on two different types of processes on how they're looking at free agency and what my unit needs compared to Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn. That is where my concern is.
I just think flat out Dan Quinn's a better coach than Kellen Moore.
Absolutely.
I think that's all that is, man. I don't unless they go out and because they've brought in bargain bin offensive guys for forever. And, it's up to Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott to elevate those guys. They brought in bargain bin guys for Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn elevated those guys. I just think he's a better coach, man. I think he need to scrap the entire tactical and strategic plan in general in free agency and get guys. It doesn't matter who the damn coordinator is. They are those dudes. And then those coordinators' responsibilities is to elevate those guys.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I guess I'm not being as toxic and having, hey, this is what I think I want to happen. Then it's just kind of like when you want something for Christmas and you get the substitute product and you're like, oh, okay, well, at least I got something. And the last point I'll say, Dak Prescott's been getting a lot of hate, I've noticed, and people have been trolling him on Twitter and stuff. You've said this a lot. No one does it alone, ever in life. No one. Hell, Jordan needed Scotty and Phil Jackson in order to become the GOAT of basketball. If you are looking at and saying Dak's the problem in the ultimate team sport, you sound like LaShawn McCoy. You sound like a guy who's either never played the game or a bumbling fool. If you know your quarterback needs help, like every other franchise, get him help. It's that simple. On that, I will leave you that. Thanks, Guy.
Appreciate you, Tom. Yeah, the whole help conversation to me is silly. I heard the dude on 105 through the fan. I think his takes are god awful. Sean, I mean, this guy, man, Jesus. Oh, I'm paying you $40 million to elevate the what? How is that your argument, my guy? It doesn't matter what he's getting paid or if you're a franchise quarterback. Those guys still need to have quality dudes. And I'm not talking about just Sunday. I'm just talking about in general. That conversation in general is goofy. It's goofy. All right. Take away XYZ from all the top guys and tell me they're going to win the Super Bowl. Just stop it. Stop it with that argument, man. It's one thing to say, he just ain't the guy, period. It's another thing to say, well, I'm paying him, so I'm expecting him to turn Noah Brown into freaking Jamar Chase. Shut up. Let's get back to this internal free agent list, man. Jake McQuaid, Trayvon Mullen. I say yes on Jake McQuaid, but I'm not going to hit him with the bring him back turbo because it's a long snapper. But Trayvon Mullen, no. In fact, I thought they cut him anyway. Left tackle Jason Peters. No. He's 40 years old, man.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I gotta let Jason Peters walk. We'll save Tony for the big four I got down at the bottom. Quarterback Cooper Rush. And this one is going to be tied to Kellen Moore. It's a no if Kellen Moore is not the offensive coordinator. It's a yes if he is the offensive coordinator. And here's why. Cooper Rush has only been in one system. Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore. That's it. His entire career. And I think that paid dividends when he came in as the backup. But if you bring in an entirely different scheme, I will pass on Cooper Rush and I will allow that new coordinator to figure out who he thinks is best made for his season, for his scheme. So this one comes with a kind of an asterisk where is Kellen Moore coming back? Because if Kellen Moore is coming back, yeah, bring Cooper Rush back. If Kellen Moore is not coming back, let him walk, hit the streets, maybe get a comp pick. That's another thing too. Like how much it's gonna cost you if you do bring him back with Kellen. But maybe somebody thinks Cooper Rush is a starting quarterback in this league and do this, and they pay him starting quarterback money. Boy, you get a nice little comp pick. But as a backup, I'm only doing it with a Kellen Moore in mind. And I don't even want Kellen Moore back, right? But if Kellen Moore comes back. So I think that's a tricky one right there. That's a tricky one. Dalton Schultz, who's not part of my big four, but I want to know what y'all think. Running back turbo or let him walk. And this is with Dalton Schultz having a good year. You know, when Dak Prescott got back, he had a solid year. He had a year I thought he'd have, right? Where he was the second leading receiver type on the team. And I still say, let him walk. If you watch the show with me and Vach, you know, I jokingly, but a little bit of truth in it, I jokingly call Jake Ferguson Baby Travis, just kind of playing around in the sense of, man, he's a guy when you look at, you don't think he has some athleticism, and then when you put the ball in his hands, you're like, yo, he just popped off the screen, hurdling dudes, can make guys miss, got some deceptive speed, really good hands. I just think Jake Ferguson, if he's given the opportunity to showcase his skills at the tight end position, can really be one of those guys, can excel to be one of those top 10 type of tight ends at some point in his career. So if that's the case, why would I bring back Dalton Schultz? Especially if Dalton Schultz is, he's not coming back for no $5 million. He's going to get $12 to $14 million. Go get your comp pick. Appreciate you, Dalton Schultz. But I got your replacement. I drafted your replacement in Jake Ferguson. I drafted him. And as for, the backup tight ends, I don't know if Sean McEwen's, it looks like he's not on this list. So Sean McEwen probably come back, and then you still got Peyton Hendershot, and you can still add to that room. I'm good. I'm good with Jake Ferguson. I think Jake Ferguson can step in and excel at the tight end position, y'all. So I'm going to let Dalton walk. James Washington, I thought he already got cut. Don't know why he's on here. I copy pasted this one. And then Carlos Watkins before we get to our big four. Here's why I'm going to do this with Los, man.
Run that back, turbo.
It ain't going to cost you nothing. It ain't going to cost you nothing with Los. I think, again, you bring him in. He's a veteran guy. See what he can do for you. If it doesn't work out, you cut him. It means nothing. But when Los was called up, he took advantage of his opportunities, and he became, I don't know if you want to use the word key, but a very underrated aspect to your defensive tackle room. He essentially is the reason why you benched Neville Gallimore this year. I mean, Hankins is also a guy, but he's really the reason why you was like, all right, Neville or Bo, we don't need y'all on game day. So
run that back, turbo.
I'm running it back with Los, man. I'm running it back with Los. Now, here's the big four. Here's my big four. Jonathan Hankins, LVE, Tony Pollard, Donovan Wilson. Let's start with LVE. Because he's a guy I did not think I'd be having this conversation. I did not think y'all know me. I come on and tell you, flat out. He was a guy I was cool with letting walk last year. Brought him back, I'm like, whatever. Season starts, I'm like, oh, come on, man. This is like the same old same. Then there was a point in the season where maybe he just got tired of us talking about him not firing downhill and scared to get hurt, even though he did get hurt. He started doing that a little bit. It was more towards the tail end, but he started doing that. And then you saw the importance of LVE when your linebacker room starts suffering injuries. But do you run it back? Do you run it back? What is it going to cost you? Has he made more money? All those things are going to be something to talk about if you want to. And I thought he had a what I would qualify as a good year. I'm still hesitant on pressing that button, though. Who's my defense coordinator? I'm going to press it.
Run that back, Turbo.
I'm going to press it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say running back with LVE. And that's big of me because I'm a guy who was like, nah, I'm good off of LVE. But I thought LVE started to showcase his importance towards the end of the year. God damn. But I'm also about trying to, I don't want to quite put him on an AB. I don't want to put him on an AB tier, right? But I'm also about, well, can I improve from this dude? What am I running it back with LVE with? Another 1-year deal? I don't know if he's going to take that. 3-year, 40-something down deal? I don't know if I want to do that, LVE. Still got hurt. Still injury questions that you got to worry about with Leighton Vander Esch. But I'll look at it from the same lines of, well, if I'm bringing back LVE on a 1-year deal or something like that.
Run that back, Turbo.
Oh, yeah. For sure. But that's the thing, Toxic. What is his market? There was a ton of people that thought after last season, people believe he had this fantastic season that he would get paid. The market said, no, we don't want him at that rate. So they brought him back for $38. What will be his market? If he's going to be expensive, then I ain't running it back. But if he's going to be cheap, sure. Your linebacker room is already is still going into this offseason another question mark. So yeah, I'll do it for the cheap. But if it's going to cost you some bread, nah, I'm good, man. Some people saying 3 years, 15 million, 3 years, 10 million, 3 years, 15, 2 years, 10. I could live with that. I could live with 2 years, 10, 3 years, 3 years might be a lot of years to allocate, but funny money, right? 3 years may really be 1, may really be 2. I can live with that. Yeah. If that is the range, sure, that's $5 million. We paid $5 million to a safety to convert to linebacker. So yeah, I ain't got no problem paying LVE $5 million. Yeah, I could deal with that. All right, let's get through the rest of my big four real quick. We said LVE, Jonathan Hankins. Who's my defensive coordinator? But regardless, though,
run that back, Turbo.
I don't think it's gonna cost you a lot for Jonathan Hankins. I do not think it's going to cost you a lot for Jonathan Hankins. So, yeah, I bring him back, bring him to camp, see if he can repeat the success he had under Dan Quinn. Problem is, though, what if you're bringing a guy that runs a 4-3 that doesn't, that don't really want big guys like Jonathan Hankins? But I run it back with Hank. I don't think it's going to really cost you any harm financially. I don't at all. we think about Hank. TC forgot Big Hank was a free agent running back. I agree. Running back with Big Hank DP. You need a one tech. It depends on the free agent. It depends on the defensive coordinator, though, right? Like, you got guys like Rob Marinelli who don't care about those dudes, which I hate. Solid in the middle, vet leadership. Yeah. And Sam Rogan, get out of here, man. Donovan Wilson. I ain't even, come on, man. I'm gonna press this a million times.
Run that back, Turbo. Run that back, Turbo. Run that back, Turbo.
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. He is priority number one for me. Maybe there's a little bias here. I am 100% running this thing back with Donovan. In fact, I would be willing, and then somebody called in yesterday, and that's why I said put a pin on this. I would 100% be willing to let go of a Malik Hooker for Donovan Wilson. Yep. Donovan Wilson, man, I don't know what he's perceived as around the league. I don't know if because he's a part of a trio that he just doesn't get that same recognition, but he is a game wrecker. He can be a game wrecker. He is one of your most productive defensive players on this defense, has been since he's been a guy that was given the chance to start or play significantly. Donovan Wilson had 5 sacks this year, y'all. Led your team in tackles. Had 9 quarterback hits. 7 tackles for loss. A couple pass breakups. An interception. 2 forced fumbles. In 2020, when he had a similar year, by the way, I told people, hey, do we realize he had one of the most productive seasons at safety since like early Barry Church years? He did it again. Very quietly, he did it again. Donovan Wilson, to me, I'm bringing him back. I don't give a damn. He's one of those guys, I don't care who my defensive coordinator is. Donovan Wilson. Bring him back. He sets a tone. He plays with an attitude. He's a missile. And he stayed healthy this year. He played in all 17 games. It's another thing that we were concerned about was, can he stay healthy? Because he's a kamikaze style of safety. Ain't no way I'm letting Donovan Wilson walk. Nope. Now, will they is a whole different discussion, but we're just talking about, will you decide to running back with these certain type of players? So what would y'all do with Donovan Wilson? It's a no-brainer to me. Toxic said he should have been a Pro Bowler. DM said his coverage skills scare him. He's not a free safety though. He's kind of a robber type and a down box safety guy. But I think his coverage skills are actually underrated from a man technique. He shows some good, in my opinion, in 2020. He shows some good zone coverage ability. But I think from a man ability, I think he can actually run with some guys. But I'm not looking at this guy as a cover safety anyway. I'm looking at this guy as a playmaker at safety. Dono the hitman. Dono for sure, probably the most versatile defensive player. Last year, it's funny, we talked about outside of Micah Parsons, who's Micah Parsons. J-Rock, I thought was show that versatility. But Dono, man, I'm telling you, there's no doubt in my mind I'm bringing Donovan Wilson back. Come on, man. And then finally, and this one may shock you guys, Tony Pollard. Run it back or let him walk. Tony Pollard. Run it back or let him walk. I feel like I just super kicked Janetti in the barbershop because I think I'm letting him walk. And that hurts. I've been on I kind of turned. I was all pro, no running back. Then I said, damn it, Tony Pollard. Yeah, give me Tony Pollard. Then he broke his ankle or messed up his ligaments in his ankle and had to get surgery. And then he broke his fibula. And I'm sure he'll be fine. But that made me kind of calm down and say, wait. We're still talking about running back. And this hurts because TP's a cannon, man. TP to me is the CMC, the Alvin Kamara, the Ecklers of the worlds. Truly. But is he going to cost you the CMC money? Can't run it back if that's the case. Gonna cost you Austin Eckler money? Sure. I'll be down for it. Can I throw in, put a pin in it type of situation? Can I throw in, can we wait and see? Can I throw in, what does the running back market look like? What happens in free agency around the rest of the league? What happens in the draft? Am I doing too much? Am I putting too much sauce on this thing here? Because it's supposed to be running back or let him walk. And I gotta let him walk, man. That hurts. And I might change my mind next week. But right now, after the game, injuries, it just hit me like, wait, we're talking about the running back position. We're talking about a position where on the other side of the field, CMC didn't have his best game because he's banged up as well, but they were able to put Elijah Mitchell in there to get you first downs and whatnot because of their scheme. We're talking about a position where I look around the league, there's other teams that have successful run games because of their scheme. And I can't be a hypocrite if I say, well, we don't need an Ezekiel Elliott type. Do you need a Tony Pollard? I don't know if you need a Tony Pollard, but I think Tony Pollard can do a multitude of things. See, y'all see the battle I'm having here with myself, man. I'm just talking it out with y'all, man. It sucks, man. It sucks. Stand on what hill? It got to be a little bit more. I don't know what the hell you talking about in here, brother. King Gresh. People was milking Zeke in all season. What are you talking about? Well, Zeke was bad this year, so I don't know why we even bringing up Zeke. Yeah, you can't let nobody go because he broke his leg. Well, wait a minute. We're not releasing Tony Pollard because he broke his leg. Tony Pollard's a free agent, so I'm not letting him go. I'm saying let him walk. See what's out there. If he gets a big contract, I'm not signing him back. I don't give a dang if he didn't break his leg. If he's going to get a CMC contract, I'm not bringing him back. But if it's like, hey, man, teams are only offering Tony Pollard 3 years, $25 million. Really? Well, come on back, right? Like if his market's not high, then yeah, I'll bring him back. But if his market's going to be high, then no. Yeah, I'm not putting Zeke back there. Look, y'all got to come to grips with Ezekiel Elliott, man. All you Ezekiel Elliott fans, you got to come to grips with Zeke. What do you want me to do, man? I can't come on here and fake the funk on y'all. I just can't. Sky, I bet if Sean was coaching and calling plays, that Turpin would have been in the game plan. And yeah, Tony Pollard would have been more in the game plan with him. I think his market will be very high, says Toxic. I got a feeling as well. All right, so those are my big four. Hankins, I said bring it back. LVE, I wasn't as big with my chest with this one, but I did say bring it back. Donovan Wilson, 100% saying it with my chest, bring him back. And Tony Pollard, man. I said let walk, man. I gotta stay. I gotta stay on my running back thing. Whereas go get me a back. Excuse me. Go get me a back. But TP, man, he's so versatile. What's his market gonna be like? Nah, I'm not paying Saquon Barkley. I mean, I think you would just draft a guy. And I'm also probably not drafting a guy in the first round either. I don't think you need to. All right, let's finish these off with these phone lines for your mind, as my guy Law would say, and get to, we got a bunch of OGs here. D Schiff, I think Mel, Marv, DJ, and Los. Start off with D Shift. What's goody? And let me lock this real quick.
The conference has been locked.
Hello.
Yes, sir. What's good, man?
Hey, what's up, Scott? Man, just had a quick point, man. So basically, I think you ever seen a low budget movie with an actor that you really like?
Yes.
But they was in a low budget movie.
Absolutely.
But so you're okay with the actor, but you understand why it's not typical of like their box office hits, right? Because it's a low budget movie, right? And so that's kind of what I kind of like in the Dak Prescott thing. Like, I mean, because we've seen like The Rock, right, go to, what was it, The Mummy Returns, The Mummy Part 2. And he had one line in that show, right? He said, Haku Machente. That's all he said. But a lot of people want to go watch that movie because of The Rock, but also, like, the graphics and the
My bad.
effects.
What movie was it? I didn't hear the movie.
The Mummy 2. The Mummy Returns.
Oh, my. Yeah.
And he had that one line. He just said, Haku Machente. That's all he says. And it kind of sparks him off, right? And so I guess my point is with the Cowboys, man, is that we typically get some good supporting actors. We get a good main actor, but we don't pay for the effects guy, or we don't bring in the right audio engineer, So we got these pretty good actors, but we just have a low budget supporting everything else. And so I think the reason you come to these productions and you just end up facing some people who paid a little bit of money for the sound effects guy and the special effects guy, and they put it all together.
Or a better writer or something like that, yeah.
Something, you know what I mean? So that was just my big case in point, because I know everybody was trashing Dak, and cool, like good to great quarterbacks play bad at times, but how'd you feel about the O-line?
I actually thought
we could have got better.
I thought the O-line in pass protection, did a solid enough job. I thought they did solid, given going up against Nick Bosa. Bosa did have a few pressures, didn't never get a quarterback hit, but as we know, pressures can affect your reads and whatnot as well. I thought they did solid, right? Now in the run department, it was tough because they didn't really lean on that. And when you lost Tony Pollard, they all but gave up on the run. And I don't think they did anything from a schematic standpoint. I say this all the time, running the ball to help them either. But I thought they were solid in the pass, and that's all we did in the second half was pass. So I ain't mad at them.
Cool, man. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of just a little point. I don't know if, people sometimes got to have stuff broken down, and it may not help. There'll probably still be people who think we're defending that.
It won't matter, D. You know how that go.
To defend the player. Far be it for me to defend the player, but just my thing is like, this also keep in mind that when this franchise, they try to go find them a franchise quarterback, they don't do well. They've accidentally had franchise quarterbacks slip in their lap. Mm-hmm. So if y'all want to trust this franchise to go look for a quarterback, you're going to get Quincy Carter, you're going to get Paxton Lynch, you're going to get Johnny Manziel. That's what you're going to get.
I try to keep it as simple as possible. I am never against upgrading, right? But we're talking about upgrading from a top 10 guy, not upgrading from the 27th quarterback in the NFL. So if you can tell me you can go get that, then fine, go do it. And mind you, there's context that comes with that. And there's risk. There's two risks, right? There's obviously the financial risk that's going to hinder you in regards to if you want to replace him with an Aaron Rodgers, which, again, you can't make the swap financially anyway. And then there's the risk in draft process where you just explained it. This team is not shown the ability to identify the quarterback position. Now, you can keep throwing stuff at the wall, right? And then, you miss, and then you just set your franchise back for a decade. And some people will say, fine, I'd rather suck for 5 to 10 years than constantly be in the running for 5 to 10 years. I'd rather have the quarterback I have now and just go all the hell in, and then if it doesn't work, blow it up, as opposed to being scared, man. Being scared to go all in. That's the issue. Yeah. All these other teams that are winning, they have not been scared to go all in. Dallas has.
Yeah, and then that's perfect, man. It's just we get so fixated on the quarterback. That's why these guys get paid so much. That's why Kevin Kolb, I think, can get paid more than a LaShawn McCoy. If my time periods are right, but we've seen, quarterbacks get a lot of money. Because
Andy Reid got these boys. Andy Reid was able to flip so many quarterbacks, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it, man. I'm gonna sit back and listen, bro.
Appreciate you. Good call.
All right, yes, sir.
This is the second time I saw this, and I think people forget. Somebody said, I trust Will McClay to find talent. Sure. We forget Will McClay was the lead draft guy in 2016 when they wanted Paxton Lynch and then Connor Cook. And then there was 6 quarterbacks drafted in front of Dak, but there was a few of them after the Connor Cook Paxton. Oh, Christian, Hattiesburg or whatever, the Penn State guy. Like, these guys were legitimately above Dak Prescott. Will McClay was on that staff, and I'm not coming at Will McClay, right? And then you also got to factor in Will McClay may have some power over every other position. But the quarterback position, especially if you're going to draft a guy in the first round or so, pretty sure Jerry Jones is probably going to want a certain specific type of guy. Pretty sure. Christian Hackenberg. Yeah, that was his name. Hattiesburg. Like, I did a whole documentary on that draft and the guys that they legitimately looked into, inquired about, tried to trade up. Not once. People think they just tried to trade up once for Paxton Lynch. No, they tried to trade up to get Connor Cook. But the Raiders jumped them. So, hey, man. And I know we're talking pre-Will McClay with the Stephen McGee. I think he was here for Mike White. All right. Okay. I'd much rather just go all in with a guy that's a top 10 quarterback as opposed to trying to start over. But if we're going to start over, just be willing to live with the bad seasons, especially under this current structure. These conversations go so much deeper that it could be for a whole other show. And certain Cowboy fans don't compartmentalize it. They just strictly, we replace Dak, we're going to win the Super Bowl. It's so much more to this thing. You got to understand the front office you're working with. Is Kellen coming back? Who's my offensive coordinator? Are they going to keep this mindset of, all right, we're going to replace him with an upgrade, right? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, whoever y'all consider these upgrades, right? But we're going to keep the same mindset that we had with him, which was, man, we paying this guy X amount of dollars. We believe in this guy to elevate talent. We don't need CD Lamb. We don't need to extend him. We'll let him walk. We'll go draft Noah Brown. We'll go draft Tolbert. Because that was the thought process, right? Well, we got a quarterback. We don't need an Amari Cooper. All right. Bring Lamar Jackson's ass in here, or whoever the hell else, and take away guys bit by bit and say, go win the Super Bowl. All while the rest of the league is saying, not only are we going to get the players, but Daniel Jones, we're going to bring you in a quality-ass coach, too, and system. Jared Goff, we want to put you under a quality system. And you see these guys elevate. Okay. Keep thinking the quarterback's the issue with this damn franchise. All you want. That's the easy thing to do. What's good? I think this is Mel.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
King
sir.
Scott, what it do, dog?
What up, Mel?
Man, it's so funny hearing these conversations, man, about who gotta stay, who gotta go. I got some bad news for Cowboys fans, bro. I got some bad news.
I saw your tweet, man.
Kellen Moore's not going anywhere.
I knew you was coming with this one, dog.
Kellen Moore's not going anywhere. The only way Kellen Moore is leaving out of here is if somebody else hires him as head coach. The way we could get lucky is if a college hires him as a head coach. But if he wants to stick around the NFL, which I think he does, or else he would have taken the college job, there's no, it's not happening. No NFL team is hiring him as head coach. You said it yourself. I got the information from you. You said that no one trusts him to lead the men.
I don't
Jesse
believe
said it too.
Yeah. I don't. I'm not gonna say. I didn't say no one does. I said I don't believe it. But stranger things have happened, right? I'm not going to rule it out. Like somebody might hire him, but I don't believe he's a guy that can lead.
I think he's got what? I saw one interview scheduled.
Yeah, the Panthers.
Look, they know that he's not going anywhere. Dak is not going anywhere. So, the best possible scenario, I believe, is to get a quarterback coach in that's going to help Dak with this offense better and coach him through the offense. And maybe I don't like using the word like getting his ass because, he's a grown man and I know Dak pushes himself, but
coaching him up.
Just coach him. Yeah, just coach him. Not like, hey, what did you see? Just really coach him. I mean, I hate to say do the Kurt Warner stuff because that's, but I mean, just kind of coach him through like, hey, this is what should be happening. But I can't believe you said let TP walk, dog.
I know, and I feel like Shawn Michaels is just giving him the super kick, man. Sweet chin music straight through the glass.
And look. I do understand your point though, as far as position wise, right? But I'm gonna double back something, and I think you might feel me on this.
Help me out. Talk me back.
Some of that was the same thinking that had people not really wanting to draft Micah because of the position, not really truly understanding all that he has to offer as a playmaker. And I think that's the thing with TP. He's an overall playmaker.
I see where you're going.
I know he does play running back.
That's tricky.
But he's an overall playmaker. Don't look at it as a tote the rock guy.
You slick. You slick, huh? You try to get slick on that. And that's my argument with the whole dual threat thing. If I can guarantee I can get the CMC, the Alvin Kamara, the Austin Eckler effect out of him where he's 60 receptions in a year, right? Yeah, you're right. Ain't no brainer to me. But who's my coordinator?
Well, you can't let him and Schultz walk, right? Like if Schultz walks.
You talking about Kellen Moore with Tony Pollard at CMC money? I can't do it.
No. Hell no. Look, CMC is not going to get CMC money the next time. We're not talking CMC money. Look, okay, hear me out on this.
I mean, but
I think he does like being here. He's got a barbecue spot. He's not like, I don't think he obviously if somebody come along with the bag, he's gonna be gone. But I definitely think that you try to get it done before that happens. I was gonna say 3 years, $20 million, but I don't know if that gets it done. But I think maybe you can at least.
I don't know. I don't know.
Can you start there?
I don't know. I don't know anymore because the injury, right? Like I think the injury could play in Stephen Jones' favor. He could use the injury to bring his price down. But what if it's another team that say, I don't give a damn about that injury? And what if the Bears
Look,
who run a diverse?
I'd have him sign the contract in the hospital bed though. Just catch him right now. Look,
waking up off the meds.
off the meds, we got the contract ready for you.
They did that to not literally, but they did that to Barry Church. Barry Church often tells that story. Not that he signed it in the hospital bed, but he tore his Achilles and they signed him to an extension right there and they got him.
Yeah, get it done. Get it done as soon as you can. And then 100% agree with you, man. Dono is my top priority after TP. So TP is number one. This is already an offense that doesn't have playmakers, bro. Like it's already like when TP went out, I quietly just said to myself, the game is over. But
it wasn't. That's what pisses me off.
It wasn't, but it was. It wasn't, but it was. I mean,
it wasn't.
I mean, once they started, once they kind of started bracketing. Bro,
the game was never out of hand, man. It was never out of your control.
No, not out of hand. It
was never over.
There were chances.
It wasn't over.
There were chances.
It wasn't over until Elijah Mitchell got that first down. Then it was over.
That's true, but TP is the one guy. TP is the one guy who doesn't need the scheme in order for him to get you a big play. He doesn't need the scheme.
Sure.
The scheme actually hurts him at times because I don't understand why you're giving him jet sweeps. Just hand him the damn ball. Like you don't need silliness for him to get going. But he's the one guy you didn't need the scheme. So if we were going to be outcoached from offense to defense side, all right? Like they were going to outcoach us going that way. But he can overcome the coaching. He can overcome the offensive scheme. So once he went out and I was like, okay, well now it's really on Dak and Kellen, this ain't going to happen.
Fair enough.
I hate to say that, but
fair enough.
But yeah, so TP is my top priority to get signed. And even if it is a franchise tag, I know you did speak about that. I'd be on board with that too. I'd be on board with a franchise tag. I don't know what that number is, but
Now that's the thing I didn't bring up with this one was the tag, because I talked about tagging him the other day, but I think we're more so looking at this thing as like, hey, do you sign him extension? But I would be open to the tag and then getting him on an extension that doesn't really kill you. But man, it's just that position and the injuries and who's my coordinator. There's so much uncertainty.
He'll be ready by training camp.
Who's my coordinator? Who's my coordinator? I don't want to bring TP back with Kellen.
Your coordinator is Kellen.
Then
Kellen's your coordinator.
And I got to let him walk.
Kelly, look, man, I'm gonna need you to just go on and soak that in. Let it soak in.
Then I'm not
He's
signing Tony Pollard. If Kellen Moore is my coordinator, why bring him back, bro? Like, why? He's not going to be used correctly. No, you have choices. You go into the draft. That's what you do. And you get yourself and get you a running back in the draft. Malik Davis, get you a running back, and you just rock out, man. Tony Pollard coming back here, you just going to waste his talents, bro.
Oh, no, man, you got to bring TP back, dog.
With Kellen Moore,
you got to bring TP back.
Right.
With whoever the same way how we got to bring Donald back, regardless of who's the coordinator. You got to bring TP back, regardless of who's the coordinator. You got to, man. You got to. He's too big of a game changer, bro. He's too big. He does do for your offense what I feel like Micah. You gotta have TP and CD as for next year, if nothing else.
See,
my last thing, bro.
I can't.
Go ahead.
I can't speak because I don't know what the running backs look like in the draft yet. I don't, so I can't really go in. But not knowing what these guys look like in the draft, that may be the case. But if there's guys out there that are explosive, that can catch the rock, that can run, and Kellen's my coordinator, just bring them in here because then I can use that money to go get better elsewhere. That's how I look at it. Now, if you're talking about a guy,
my point. That's 100% my point. Why I would bring TP back? Because so hear me on this one real quick, Sky. I do got one more point, and I know I want to get off quick, but they're not gonna go get somebody else explosive. They're just gonna say, well, you've got CD and he's explosive, right?
In the draft, they drafted Tony Pollard in the 4th round.
They did, but it ain't really that many. But who really else in the league is really like that explosive? It ain't really a lot of guys like that even in the league.
I mean, there's guys there's guys you can get in the draft, bro, that are explosive running backs. Like there just is. Like, and I'm not trying to come at Tony Pollard, but we're talking about the running back position at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we are talking about the running back position and a coordinator who doesn't use the running back in a dual threat manner. So if I'm going to have a running back who's not going to be used in that dual threat manner, I can get me an explosive.
Just as solely a running back.
I can get me an explosive running back in the draft that not cost me whatever the money is going to be, and I can use that money to go try to get better elsewhere. If Kellen Moore is my coordinator, I keep saying that.
Kellen's going to be the coordinator, so
then I'm not bringing Tony Pollard back to get 26 catches. Because you're not using him to the best of his abilities, bro. But seriously. Like, Tony Pollard should have been your second leading receiver, and it shouldn't even have been close this year.
Close. Shouldn't have been close. My last one, man, the other offseason priority. I think Jamar Chase gets done this offseason, and I think you got to get seed. Oh, wait, can Chase get done this offseason? I'm not sure.
No.
I would. Well,
this is only his second year.
You let me know,
rookie of the year last year.
Okay, damn. All right. Well, I was gonna say you try to get CD done after Chase.
No, not Chase.
Yeah,
I think you're talking Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would let those guys get done first before I would do CD. I would let them set the market because I feel like CD's for us he's that, but he's probably a step below those guys. So I would try to get him done after that, and those will kind of be my off season as far as in-house priorities go.
I don't think you need. I don't think you need to. Like my mind frame would be financially to go all in to improve. Again, we're talking about what I would do. We know Dallas ain't gonna go all in to improve
That's why, and I'm keeping the Dallas. Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess if Dallas ain't gonna spend money in free agency, then damn it, pay your guys. But me, you still got 2 more years. You got 2 more years on CD Lamb. You don't need to sign CD or Diggs. You don't. You can. Well, Diggs is different because Diggs only has 1 more year because he wasn't a first round pick. But CD Lamb, you can put the 5th year tender on, and now I got 2 more years to play with that money and use it elsewhere to try to improve my roster. Not saying I don't trust CD or believe in CD. It's just that, hey, I'm trying to maximize.
No, I think CD about to go off.
Yeah, well, I think I'm trying to maximize the value that I have on my first round pick under a rookie contract is what I'm trying to do. But if they're not going to spend the money, then hell, I guess just go ahead and get it over with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just go on and extend him now because he's about to go off. Like then it's going to be Jefferson and Chase money.
And that's fine, right? Because it's warranted to pay him that money. But I'm saying like to try to maximize me, not Dallas, because Dallas is Dallas, but me. I would say, hey, I got 2 more years on a cheaper-ish deal. Let me maximize those 2 years. We're talking about the NFL. That 2 years, you can get a lot done. You can be one of the worst teams and go to the Super Bowl in 2 years, right? So let me use that money elsewhere to maximize my ability to win in those 2 years. And then if CD is, Jamar Chase and whatever production, then it's worth paying him that money. It's not even a question, right?
I love that idea. I love that. And then if that's the case, I would keep Ty. See if I can keep Ty just for that veteran leadership because I feel like there was definitely a different CD after Ty.
That's a good point.
CD was good. CD was good before Ty, but once Ty got here, I felt like I saw a completely different mindset. CD.
Yeah, I want to bring him back. He was part of the list where if you look at our internal free agents, he's a guy that I said bring back. I don't see the harm in bringing T.Y. Hilton back. I think there's way more benefits to bringing him back than it is not.
Yeah, and like you said, you don't have to depend on him. Go get some guys to depend on, but having his veteran leadership there, I felt was valuable. But man, let me get off. I don't want to hog up time, man. Thank you for letting me on, man. I've been meaning to talk with you for a while, brother. But awesome, man. Thank you, bro.
Good conversation. Appreciate you, Mel. Man, it's a tough conversation to have on my guy TP, but and this is the thing about probably all these guys, really, not all of them, some of them. I kept asking the question, who's my coordinator? Seriously, who's my coordinator? Because if we're just going to utilize Pollard as a running back and not a dual threat guy consistently, I ain't going to get me a running back in the draft, man. And that's something that is not up Kellen Moore's sleeve, right? Is utilizing a Tony Pollard as a pass-catching weapon on a consistent basis. Let me see something real quick. Because y'all know I usually compare him to the Ecklers of the world. Damn. Oh my God. I listen. So I went to go look at Austin Eckler's numbers. Man, that's excuse me. This is exactly why this is how I would use him. Bro, I'm sitting here thinking that Austin Eckler might have had 70 receptions, 60 something. Austin Eckler had 107 receptions this year. 700 yards, 5 touchdowns, 915 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns. Over the last 2 seasons, Austin Eckler has 40, 20, 33, almost 40 touchdowns. Bruh. And my mans can't get 50 receptions? Tony Pollard tied a career high in receptions at 30-9. So why would I bring him back? 371 receiving. And look, the one receiving the big play is like 60-something yards. That was a run. That was a pitch, but they called it a pass because it went parallel. Like, if this is what we're gonna do with Tony Pollard, then no. And I look at Austin Eckler. That is unbelievable, bro. 177 receptions over the last 2. That is how you use a guy like Tony Pollard. Well, Sky got to run too. Yep. He had 915 rushing yards, averaged over 4.5 yards per carry. And y'all wonder why I get so fired up when I'm talking about this scheme and the coordinator, because little things like this, easy little buttons. But we got to overcome it. I will say that. Got to overcome it, for. You got to. You got to overcome it, TP. Zeke, Lamb, whoever the hell's out there. Got to overcome it. You're not going to be put in the best positions to succeed on a consistent basis with this coordinator. It's not going to happen. So you just got to rise to the occasion. And that didn't happen. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know he had 107 receptions. We got to get through these. Los, what's up, man?
Yo, good morning, Sky. Hey, as far as everything, like you said, I'm letting most of the offensive side walk, except Steele, because if you can keep any foundation to any team, it would be your O-line and D-line in the trenches. And it's a sad story to see about Tony because, I mean, hey.
I know.
In this league.
I hate saying it, but you're right.
It's unforgivable in this league. I mean, there's nothing you can do about the running backs. And it's the reason why I was pissed when we signed Zeke before Dak, causing the situation where we're in denial, but that's here and there, right, Sky? So, keep building around Micah and Dak these next years while you have them on contract. Spend money on true stud free agents, which I know they won't do. But whether Dan Quinn walks or not, as far as we know, offensively, we know it's 50-50 when it comes to the offense. It comes down to the identity and scheme. And if the players are bought into the system and can execute the scheme or identity on the field. And I felt Kellen in this offense, we were always questionable whether we were always bought into, which is crazy because if you look at the numbers, we have always been top 5 or top 10, these past 2 years. But we never had anything to lean on when the lights got too bright.
You know why I believe that?
Yeah, and then
I believe that because
ahead,
of the quarterback. I truly 100% don't think your offense is the way it is because your coordinator is this amazing brainchild of a coordinator. It's because you got a quarterback who can elevate it. But I digress. Go ahead.
Exactly. And then when teams made Kellen uncomfortable from his Barbie playbook, it seems like he just, put a shelf of everything that worked, play action, pulling of the guards, things that help the run game and passing game, and which we stay on the show talking about, like what happened, what type of plays, why didn't we, do this? And if there's anything I hope we can do is what type of players can help elevate Kellen's scheme, or we pray to, the man above for Carolina to please sign this man and take the problem away, and we move on to a new voice offensively and just be done with this Jason Garrett offensive tree.
And that's even scary, right? Like I said this earlier in the show, Lowe's, like I can't celebrate too much yet, even when Kellen's gone, because I'm like, well, who are you bringing in? Who are you? Because I'm not in the camp of anybody but just yet, because there are bad offensive coordinators out here. So I'm not in the anybody but camp. I'm in the, okay, let's get rid of Kellen, but let's be smart about who you bring in here. And that's what scares me is I don't know who they're going to bring in. It makes me a little nervous.
Exactly. And I'll finish with this, Guy. For those who say rookies can't get it done, That's false, because look what Purdy managed to do to us second half at the most crucial times when a play needed to be called, and Kyle Shanahan dialed it up. Because I ain't gonna lie, Scott, he dialed it beautifully. And Kansas City secondary, I mean, look at them. I mean, most of them are rookies playing at a high level due to a winning culture and not failing their expectations or heavy expectations of reaching just an AFC Conference championship year after year. And, you know, it really comes down to culture. And we know Cowboys have always felt, you know, at that aspect due to say, not at the money. I mean, hey, they can have, it's like, you know, they can count the money from day to day. You know, I'm probably sure they wipe their you-know-what with it. But, I mean, there ain't nothing we can do. We as fans just root that they can find a way to build the dominoes to succeed. And that's all I got to say, guys. Peace out.
Appreciate you, Los. What the hell is wrong with y'all in here, man? I'm sitting here trying to read through the comments. Y'all keep talking about my fade, man. Y'all crazy. DJ, man. What's up, DJ?
Hey, good morning, Scott. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good. I'm good, man.
Good. Hey, can you imagine what this year would have looked like if TP had 70 additional touches?
Oh, man.
My Lord. My Lord, bro.
Bruh.
Like, 107, that is crazy.
That's crazy. And look, they teased me after the Minnesota game. I came on here, I had a graphic. Oh man, Tony Pollard when he gets receptions, and he, you know, I'm thinking they're about to start throwing him the ball more. Bro had like 5 receptions the rest of the damn way. It felt like, man, it was frustrating. But yeah,
that's 70 additional touches, and that's not only 70 additional touches for TP. That's taking those Noah Brown plays away, right? Like that's taking that James Washington little stint away. Like that's an eraser, because TP specializes in turning whatever a play. He's a net positive. So if it was supposed to be a negative 3-yard play, he turns it into getting back to the line of scrimmage. Or a 1-yard play into a 5-yard play, a 5-yard play into a touchdown, that kind of thing. That's what he specializes in. So that made me sick when I heard that. I think because the other day when I talked to you and Voch, you know, we kind of pivoted into a Dak Prescott conversation, but what I was really trying to say was we're not getting rid of Dak Prescott. So there's that institutional, organizational philosophy that has to change, and y'all been talking about it all morning between the different callers and you yourself. But I mean, I just don't get, and it's probably why they're in the position that they're in, but I don't get why the most valuable sports franchise on the planet is trying to play Moneyball all the time. And I get it's a rubber band reaction to early 2000s Jerry Jones, when if you had a name and you were an all-pro at any point in your career, we're signing. We're going to get him just to have the name.
But even, and, yeah, I mean, no, I maybe one day I used to do kind of documentary style videos. Maybe I'll get back into it. But even then, like, where Jerry Jones really screwed the pooch at wasn't because he was signing all these high price free agent they were failing. It was signing either A, signing his own to the big money, or B, the trades for the receivers. Those were the most egregious things. Like one of his biggest free, and again, I'm going off track, my apologies. One of his biggest free agent years was, I think, the year where they got like Ferguson and Rivera and Henry and these guys. I think we still have Bill Parcells, and for the most part, a good amount of those dudes actually worked out. Then he went out and got Leonard Davis. That worked out. Like, so it didn't not work when he was signing big money free agents. I think when Steven became more in control of the situation from a free agency standpoint, and it failed to him, not to me, but to them, it failed with Brandon Carrs when they said, okay, we got to stop. And I don't think it failed with Brandon Carr, but that's another discussion. My bad for hijacking the call.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, but that's kind of what I'm saying. It's not necessarily, I wasn't even saying that it failed, but it was just a reaction to the money that was being spent, right? And but I'm like, hey, bring back that guy. Right, and then just use the checks and balances of Will McClay and Stephen Jones to kind of make sure you don't overpay. The second point that I'll get to real quick, because I do have two more, and I know it's late, so I'm gonna get you out of here.
Okay.
But PP, the cap, I think it's $10 million, right? If it's $10 million or less, go ahead and do it. Just because of what he proven himself to be to this offense. And yes, I know coordinating matters. I know how his injury pans out and his healing, how that matters. But even if he was 100% healthy and never got hurt, because he is still a running back, I think the cap is $10 million a year. If it's anything above that, you got to let him go. If it's anything less than that, hey, sign and be happy. Like, run as fast as you can to get him the pin. And my last thing is Hankins and Dono, I think, are your two most important defensive ones. And this is my thing, because Dan Quinn, when he came in, and I think Kellen Moore doesn't do this. I think he's just like, oh, whoever you get me, I'm going to make it work. Dan Quinn came in and said, hey, if we're going to do this and you hired me to fix your defense, I'm going to need this, and this. And he set out a list. And that first draft, you saw that because it was all defensive for the most part.
And you know what I respect about DQ is that he realized he messed up, right? He messed up. He said, damn, I tried to convert Keanu O'Neal, man. That ain't work. DeMonte KZ, that ain't work. And he fixed his mistake. Instead of trying to get a safety, convert them to linebacker, he said, let me just get linebackers, right? and he used those linebackers.
Exactly.
So, and whatever.
Well, and I think that's organizational influence at that point, because he was part of the Cowboys. He's like, oh, we can do this. We'll just pay him $5 million. And, is he a hitter? And Dan Quinn's like, hell yeah, he's a hitter. Then like, hey, we can make that work. And then he understood that that's not going to work. But he knew that he needed a guy in the middle. He went out. He got them to get him a guy in the middle in Hankins, and then of course Dono is the tone setter. Him and Javon Curse, right? So those are the two most important things that you got to bring back to this defense. Plus, on top of just the fundamental scheme importance, Hankins, the moment he came in, interior run defense was night and day.
Right.
So I think it wasn't even close. It's not. There's nothing to talk about. There's no discussion there. You got to bring that guy back.
Yeah, and even if he fades, right, and he's not that same guy, at the very least you keep him in there for competition. And I say still draft a big one. I'm all about drafting linemen every year and drafting defensive tackles every year, all the time.
Oh yeah, stacking the deck. You know how sick it makes me, the fact that Philadelphia has the best record. We'll see how the season plays out, but the best record, and they had 3 picks, traded one away to add to their stock, but they still have 2 first-round picks, and I think they have like 5 top 60 picks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Hey, DJ, good call, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
No, thank you.
So, Jason, we do these shows so we can become smarter fans. That's not the Cowboys' problem, man. Unless you're new here, But the problem is that they overpaid everybody, like, and they don't have money because of Dak's contract. Dak literally was making like $19 million on the cap in 2020. When Dak Prescott was making pennies as a rookie, they didn't do anything to sign free agents or like. I feel like Bomb Squad. Do I have to go through a whole nother tutorial about the inner workings of the Cowboys free agency since 2016? Because we do have a lot of new viewers and a lot of people, they're in this echo chamber and this group think, and they haven't really seen it broken down. But do I have to do that again to prove that this front office, it doesn't matter if your quarterback was getting paid $38 or $38 million. They don't like to spend outside. That's not what they like to do. Now, they will sign their own and then say, well, that's why we don't spend outside, because we sign our own. And not signing your own all the time doesn't necessarily mean that's the right decision. Nah, not today. Not today, Lemitra. It'll be another show if I got to do that. Yeah, AZ. Yeah. But, I've actually broken this thing down quite like science because I've kept seeing this go around. And I'm just gonna flat out tell you, brother, that is not the biggest problem in Dallas. Not even remotely close. And I'm sure I don't got the button right this second because we ain't in free agency yet, but y'all know the button I'm gonna press, man. Here comes the money. I'm sure once we get into free agency, you will hear your own general manager, who is Stephen Jones, talk about pie and talk about this, and you'll get people repeating it, and it'll go into the group think category, and they'll continue to lie to you and pretend like that is why they can't do X, Y, Z. It's not. It's not. They want to do things their way. Their way doesn't work. The league is showing you there are other ways that work. They refuse to do it because they want to say, Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. But maybe one day I'll break this whole thing down again. But right now, we're going to get to Magic City Marv. How you feeling, Marv?
What up, family? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah. I've been listening to the shows all around town. I'm like,
tough. It's tough
like
for
I told my friends, yeah, pissed me off that game. Before I tell you about the free agents and all that, like I always tell my friends, I'm gonna give y'all. It's like a.
You think they
it's
got rid
spiritual.
of Cooper because they couldn't?
It's like, listen. It's like, Marv.
Man,
I'm
you
like,
must be a
it's
new
like
Cowboy
I'm your
fan.
kid, and you told me, Marv, don't go outside. It's raining. Marv, I told you, don't go outside. But anyway, I go outside anyway. It rained and come back, and I bring all that mess back in your house. And you come in and like, man, I told you, you young dumb kid, get in the room. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say, we had last year 2 minutes, 57 seconds left. We can't even drive and score a touchdown.
Oh,
This year,
that was
2 minutes and 57 seconds left. Even though it's 19-12, I'm gonna let you. I was like, still
drive,
threw
man.
5 interceptions, but still, you still get one more chance.
Get one more chance, right?
You got one more chance still. It's 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Come on, you could do it, my brother. Unbelievable. Still couldn't even take me down the field.
Couldn't take him down the
field. That was pitiful, bro. You know it's pitiful. Like I said, look what I just told you, Steele. I say, Steele, you threw 5 interceptions. But you know what? Man, we still in the game. It's 19-12. Come on. Can you do it? Can you go down and tie the score or win the game 20-19? Still, you didn't move 10 yards.
We
and
did.
You had 3 first.
We did.
You had 3 timeouts.
Yeah, you sure hell didn't, man. And oh, you know what, Marv? Maybe this is just we just talking here. I said a long time ago on Twitter, the Cowboys' inability to be able to run a screen is a bigger issue. It's a bigger issue than anybody was willing to talk about. Because anytime they got backed up like they did at the end of that 2 minutes, or at any point in time where they needed just a quick release valve, an easy release valve, they couldn't do it. And if you look at some of the top offenses in the league, they can easily run a screen in they damn sleep. So when
they can do it in their sleep. Plus in Detroit, I love Detroit,
San Fran, Philly, Cincy, KC, Minnesota. All these offenses can run screens in their sleep. And
Dallas can never run.
They can't run a screen, man. They can't run a screen. And I was like, man, this is a great time. And we talked about this in the prep. We said, hey, man, this would be a good time to do draws and screens against this aggressive front. And we do.
Thank you.
And we just
we never do it.
We just didn't. So it just was making me think about that drive. But
yeah, man, I'm talking about it happens every year. If we got it was a, we did it against Houston because it didn't really count. That was fake anyway. Okay, that Houston game. But when it comes to chance to win a game, when it really counts, we don't go nowhere. Because this offensive coordinator, I'm going to tell you, and I hope Dak Prescott is listening to your show. I'm going to tell you, Mr. Dak Prescott.
He ain't listening to my show, man.
This is going to happen, my brother. If they bring Kellen Moore back, and if you don't go to that owner, because I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Prescott, Stephen Jones do not like you, my brother. I'm going to tell you right now. You're only there because his dad owned the team. Now, I'm going to tell you, Mr. Prescott, with all these fans around the world that love the Cowboys, that's so pissed off, they burning up your jerseys, because that offensive coordinator got the whole world hating you. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't go in there, Mr. Prescott, and tell the owner, I want to do a West Coast offense that's going to help you a lot. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. It's not even about the receiver, because they got fast-ass receivers that never suit up.
I mean, the receiver aspect of it is part of the umbrella, but
yeah, that dumb offense, and they know our routes. We run the dumbest routes. You got the receivers thinking to run. Man, get the hell out of here with that dumb shit. You got to do the West Coast offense, because then you'll be playing just like Purdy. Because if you put Dak Prescott with the 49ers, he probably would have scored 40 on the Cowboys if he was with San Francisco. I'm telling you right now. So, Mr. Dak Prescott, if you're listening to my boy, AZ, you better get your head out your ass and tell that motherfucker, excuse my French, and I know everybody listening, you better tell that motherfucker, Kellen Moore, I'm not running your fucking offense no more. We going West Coast, and I don't want to run no fucking throwing these damn interceptions. We going West Coast, motherfucker.
Hey, Marv is not with it. If you tired of your offensive coordinator all in the curl routes, dancing with no screens, inconsistent week to week, West Coast offense, mother. That's what Marv said. I ain't mad at you, Marv. We got a coordinator that's all in the videos. And if you don't get that, then you just don't get that. So listen, two things I saw in here. Mr. Alex, if D-Hop is mad that Murray's not throwing the ball, what you think he's going to do with Dak as his QB? Like, do y'all not think CeeDee Lamb is literally a second-team All-Pro? How did you even come to that conclusion? Amari Cooper made 2 or 3 Pro Bowls here under Dak Prescott. How do you come to the conclusion he's not going to throw DeAndre Hopkins the ball? I digress. And then the other one was Will Burning. How many more years do we need to see that Dak's not that dude? Cool. I'm never opposed to upgrading at any single position. My question now becomes to you. Give me the solution. Maybe not today with the call, but please, William Burney. I see you in the chat often, and what have you. I've never heard you call in. I would love for you to call in and give us the solution that will take the Cowboys from divisional conference championship contenders to Super Bowl contenders next year or the following year. Like real life conclusions, not Madden, not we just going to swap him for Tom Brady, because that's not how it works, right? Because you're going to have to deal with ramifications of, because the one guy who said, well, we can't do XYZ because Dak's contract. No, you cut Dak. Now you can't do a lot of things because of that contract. So I just ask for the solutions, right? Like call in and give me your well thought out, realistic solutions where you won't be cap struck to be able to build around this new quarterback. You won't have to get rid of other guys to build around this said quarterback. and you are going to win a Super Bowl in the next year or two, and you get rid of Dak. If that is a possibility, I'm all for hearing it and doing it. But if your thought process is, well, I don't care about winning a Super Bowl in the next 2, 3, 4 years. I just want to start over and see what happens in the next half decade or so and hope for the best. If that's the case, then just say that. Like, you would rather suck and hope to hit lightning in a bottle with the Mahomes and the Burrows, and do we even say Herbert yet? I'm not quite ready to put that on that tier just quite yet. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Then try to build around what is now. I would much rather y'all just say that. Hey, man, I'd rather try to hit lightning in a bottle, man. We've run our course with Dak. I know we're going to suck for probably a half decade, and maybe even more if it really don't work out because of the way this structure of this organization is. But I'm willing to try to do that. As opposed to Dak Prescott sucks, let's cut him. And do what? Do you want to win now, or do you want to win in 7 to 10 years? Just let me know. Because I want to win now. So I want to go all in to win now. And if that doesn't work out, we can easily blow it up. But what is the point of blowing it up if you're this close? Go all in. What are we scared to go? People say we scared to move forward. No, we're scared to go all in. You've had many of chances under both of these quarterbacks in multiple regimes to go all in. That's what they're scared to do. I don't blame them for not, when I heard this on the radio, I don't blame them for not wanting to start over all these times and turn into the Detroit Lions and the Washington football people of going through all these quarterbacks. I don't want to be that. I want to be the organization that says this. I'm going for the gusto this year, or I'm going for the gusto right now. That's what I want to be. If it doesn't work out and we go through a little 3 to 4 year period, we got to rebuild. Cool. I'm not scared to move forward. We scared to go all in. Y'all talk about being scared to quit. I know how they condition Bruce. You're not close, but you just got to the divisional round and was a possession away. So what, blow it up? All right. Again, I ask you, Floyd, are you willing to go through the period of not having a quarterback and being bad for, I don't know how long. How long was the period before Romo got here? 2000 to 2006. So that was a 7-year period. By luck, by happenstance, by the way. So we're willing to go through another 7 years. If you're willing, then just say that. I'm willing to go through a decade almost of no quarterback play, bad front office, and hope to hit lightning in a bottle. And then I yield. But I can't yield to get rid of the guy. Then what? Then what? Because I'm all about I don't give a damn who the player is. I want to win a Super Bowl. I told y'all, if we won a Super Bowl with the corpse of Ryan Leaf, I would build Ryan Leaf a statue. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'm trying to find out how best way to take advantage of a team right now that I think is not super far away. I mean, clearly they've shown you that this year. They weren't far away last year, but you decided to say, you know what? We're going to take guys away. And you still was almost close. I don't mean to get passionate about it, but just make it make sense. Just make it make sense for me. Go get Aaron. See, that's the thing. Get Aaron Rodgers. How? To tell me, call in, Floyd, how you go get Aaron Rodgers, who wants $60 million. Get rid of Dak, who's going to cost y'all, what, $38 million dead cap or whatever the crazy number is. It might even be more. I don't know. Plop him on a team where he was on a team the previous 3 years who he kept crying to get more weapons for. Put him on a team where they're not going to give you more weapons. Your DC's probably gone. You want to talk about going at it with an offensive coordinator? Oh boy, I would love to see Kellen Moore and Aaron Rodgers coexist, because he's not just going to be cool with no goddamn Kellen Moore calling this foo-foo shit. So Aaron Rodgers is just the solution to win a Super Bowl in this organization the way it's structured, or does Aaron Rodgers need help? Are you saying he don't need help because he didn't have help over there and he didn't get it done? You see where this is going? What's the solution, bruh? What's the solution? All for it. All for it. Get rid of Dak. All for it. If you can upgrade and win a Super Bowl in the next couple years. Give me the non-Madden, turn off the salary cap and trade and all this stuff solution. I digress. Let me get to these super chats. Toxic, I think I know what your solution is. But I'm talking about with the Q. Maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll tailor the show to the, because I don't mind that, right? Call in. For those that don't like the quarterback, we know those that don't like the franchise and the team or whatever, the front off. But those that don't like the quarterback specifically, that we can't get it done to the quarterback specifically. Let's talk solutions. So tomorrow we'll do that. What is the solution getting rid of Dak Prescott that will win you the Super Bowl in the next couple years? I think that'll be a fantastic conversation. I want to hear from those people. That doesn't mean call in and I have to give you a coloring book now. That don't mean call in and we got to sit here and hear breaking TVs and hold on, do I got it in there? Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Cause I got a feeling this is what y'all gonna be calling in here doing. I don't got it. I do got it. Here we go. Hold on. Bear with me. Anyway, I'm gonna get to some of these super chats while we do that. Somebody trying to call in? Who trying to call in? Boom, boom. All right, let's read these super chats real quick before we do that. Who's delusional? Did you not hear anything I just said? Oh, God, I guess you can't. You can't get through certain fans. You can't get through certain fans, man. And I gotta learn that. That's something I struggle with.
Super chat.
Dwayne Brown, shout out to you for the super chat. Seen TP play in high school and college. If he I don't know what that means. If he use him more in the slot. Oh, if he stays, use him more in the slot. Even if we keep Zeke, TP is a game manager, a game changer, sure.
Super chat.
Jonathan Scruggs. Dono was coming up, smacking Debo in the mouth. He's a cannon, man.
Super chat.
Dwayne also dropped one, said, let Dalton walk. Did we feel like Witten was holding tight ends behind him back? Yes, we did. And that was it for today. So we're going to save the solution conversation tomorrow. Content. Please, if you are one of them ones, please call in so we can talk solutions about getting rid of Dak Prescott. I'll save the monies and the numbers and all that stuff for tomorrow, because I think that's a conversation. I think that is a conversation I would like to hear from those and give them their voice, because realistically, it's not happening. But let's play in fantasy land where you get rid of Dak Prescott right now and you can win a Super Bowl next year or the following year. Let's play in that and see what y'all think of. I would love to hear it, Cowboys Nation. Regardless, though, appreciate y'all for being here. As long as there's no power issues, weather issues, I'll be on later on Vacha's show. We'll be talking Dallas Cowboys stuff. Soon we'll be doing, draft content, I think next week. And then later tonight, Mo will be on A to Z Sports Prime Time. It should be a good show. Mo been killing it lately. Make sure y'all check Mo out, man. Seriously. Shout out to All Is Well. Just dropped one. Super Chat says, should number 1 seed be main focus next year? Appreciate you for the super chat. Always, right? Win the division, get the number 1 seed. That's kind of how they usually put their priorities in order in regards to goals. Flo, I don't know what to do. What else to do, Flo? But content. I think sometimes I'm too rational. I said that to my mans before. Like, I don't live in an extreme side of the fan field, and I think the rational, logical, contextual, whatever you want to call it, take gets drowned out because people only want to hear the drastic sides. I don't know, man. But it is what it is. Appreciate y'all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and press this button. We'll be back tomorrow. Give y'all some more fire content. It's unfortunate we're here, but this is where we at. Oh, this is what I was trying to get at.
You can't keep getting away with it.
This is y'all. He can't keep
getting away with it. You can't keep getting away with it.
That's how y'all sound, man. We out here. Peace.
Squad!